You're going to legalize shoplifting, rob the hell out of the stores. At least the fence can be on the back end. So you can steal that TV, go straight to the fence. By the way, I guess you could do it in the parking lot. Set up a van right there. We fence stolen property. You run in and grab it. I'll fence it right here. DA, all good by us. Driving with a suspended license. Well, sometimes that might be okay. What was it suspended for? Was it suspended for DWI? Was it suspended because you're a drunk who's killed people? Was it suspended because you're this homicidal maniac in Milwaukee who murdered 6 people? You know what? This DA says, hey, driving with a suspended license, no problem at all, no longer a crime. Breaking and entering into a vacant property without property damage. So any property that's vacant, you can break in and you're fine. Locks don't matter, burglar alarms don't matter. By the way, burglar alarm goes off, what the hell do? You show up, hey, you don't prosecute it, I'm staying right here. You may say, well, at least there's something reasonable, it's without property damage, right? Well, no, except the problem is number 8 on the list, breaking and entering into a vacant property with property damage. So it doesn't matter, break into the place, loot it, trash it, destroy it. All is good in Joe Biden's criminal-friendly America. Number 9, wanton or malicious destruction of property. By the way, don't believe the Democratic talking points. This stuff isn't violent, really. Wanton or malicious destruction of property? Not a crime in Joe Biden's America. Threats. Threats of violence. I want you to imagine right now you've got an angry vagrant making threats of violence against your children. You call the DA saying, my family's being threatened, protect our safety, and what does she say? Not a crime. Oh well. Stinks to be you. Threats are just A-okay. Minor in possession of alcohol. Hey, great. Kids, drink up. Actually, the beauty of it is in Joe Biden's America, the kids can get drunk, they can drive, they can have their license suspended, and apparently they'll get a gold star at the end of it. Minor possession of alcohol. We've got Senate pages here. Just go down to the U.S. Attorney's office. They're serving margaritas. Marijuana possession. Okay, I said we can debate marijuana possession. Reasonable people can disagree on that. Now, doesn't specify the quantity. Teenager with a joint, you could say that may be a good candidate for diversion to something else. Drug dealer with several kilos of pot in the back, maybe you ought to be prosecuting that. Oh, and by the way, how do we know she doesn't just limit it to the kids with a joint? Well, what's number 13 on the list? Possession with intent to distribute. So drug dealers, in Joe Biden's America, drug dealers, it is legal. You can sell booze to kids. You can sell drugs to kids. You can sell stolen televisions to kids. She doesn't prosecute drug dealers. But look, at least it's just pot. And come on, we know, in states, a lot of states, pot's not that bad, right? It's just pot. Uh-oh. Number 14, non-marijuana drug possession. So for any Democrats ready to go home saying, hey, we just like pot because we're Democrats. Nope. Heroin, cocaine, LSD, fentanyl. Drug dealers who are poisoning our kids. In Joe Biden's America, we don't prosecute you. And number 15 is really the crowning jewel of this. Resisting arrest. So I want you to envision what this says. You can break and enter into vacant property and do damage. You can have a homeless person trespass on your front lawn, set up a tent, threaten your children, sell them drugs. If a police officer shows up and tries to arrest them, they can violently resist arrest. And what does the DA say? All good by me. Not a crime. Madam President, this isn't a word. Nuts. This is crazy. You know what? This is what the Democrats support. I'll tell you why. The Democrats are counting on the news media refusing to cover this. The Democrats are counting on ABC, NBC, and CBS. This is not news. The Democrats are counting on CNN. Will not cover this. Every single Democrat in this body has voted for Rachel Rollins. They had to bring Vice President Harris out to break the tie. And you know, Democrats, when they go home, they like to say, we're not for abolishing the police. No! You know what? When you vote to confirm a lawless so-called prosecutor who says, I won't prosecute crime, you've abolished the police. Cops can arrest them, but the DA will let them go. And what did she say? Dismissed, pre-arraignment, without conditions. This is radical and extreme, and I'm going to make a challenge to Senate Democrat colleagues. Some of you are in purple states, a few of you are in red states, some of you are in bright blue states. I challenge any of you in the bluest state of the union, go home to your constituents, get any gathering in a town hall, and put this chart in front of them. And ask your constituents, do the people of Nevada agree that we shouldn't prosecute trespassing or shoplifting or drug dealing or resisting arrest or violent threats? Do the people of Virginia agree that these are not crimes and shouldn't be prosecuted? And I promise you, in all 50 states, there is not a state too blue. Your constituents would agree on this. And so what our Democratic colleagues are counting on is that people won't know. You know, before the vote, I spoke with several Democrats. I tried to tell several Democrats, this is a bad vote. This is a vote you are going to regret. This is a vote your constituents are going to be mad at you for. One of those Democrats said, well, the majority leader asked me to do it. You know, crack the whip, party unity, party discipline. The order from the Democrats in the White House is, this is the chief federal law enforcement officer in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. God help you if you don't want violent criminals robbing your store. God help you if you don't want drunken, homeless people setting up tents in your front yard. God help you if you don't want drug dealers selling drugs to your children. Because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has said, those are all A-OK. And if you don't believe me, because in this bizarre partisan world, nobody believes the other side, read the memo. She entitles the memo, the Rachel Rollins Policy Memo. She wrote it, she put her name on it in writing. This is what it says. If we lived in a time of sanity, senators on both sides, Democrats listening to this, would say, hold on a second. That doesn't make any sense at all. Let's tap the brakes. By the way, one Democrat could stop this nomination. One. Every individual Democrat, you have the choice. It means every one of you is also the deciding vote. So when you go back to your home state, you single-handedly decided this lawless so-called prosecutor should be confirmed. I'll tell you this, you can never again claim you oppose abolishing the police, because this vote is front and center. Trespassing not prosecuted, shoplifting, larceny, disorderly conduct, receiving stolen property, driving with a suspended license, breaking and entering with property damage, wanton and malicious destruction of property, threats, minor in possession of alcohol, marijuana possession, possession with intent to distribute, non-marijuana drug possession. I don't ever want to see a Democrat stand up here talking about fentanyl. Fentanyl is terrible. I don't want to see another Democrat talk about the opioid crisis, say people are dying in New Hampshire, people are dying in my state. They are. And you're about to vote for a prosecutor who won't prosecute the drug dealers selling those opioids and poisoning our children, and won't prosecute resisting arrest. So if the cop comes, take a swing. To my colleagues on the Democratic side of the aisle, there is still time for you to stop this nomination. I implore you, listen to your constituents and do the right thing. I yield the floor.
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. And while you're at it, please leave us a comment. Thank you for watching.